A mother swears her son was attacked in his own backyard. The neighbors swear the boy provoked their dogs. Again, both sides have a story. Both sides have a witness. But there's one thing neither side counted on. The camera was rolling the whole time. And in the next few minutes, you're going to watch a courtroom fall apart in real time. Because the moment the video comes out, one family's entire defense collapses in front of a national audience. Stick around, because the ending of this one is not what you expect. And if you love real courtroom drama with twists nobody saw coming, hit subscribe now, because we post cases like this every single week. Two families. One property line. No fence between them. On one side, a mother named Ms. Mack, raising her 8-year-old son Malik. They'd only just moved into the neighborhood, not even 2 full years. On the other side, the Herrera family. Long-time residents, nearly 7 years on that street, and 4 dogs living under their roof, a mixed mutt, a Chiweenie, yes, that's a Chihuahua-Dachshund mix, and 2 full-blooded Chihuahuas. Small dogs, but small doesn't always mean harmless. Malik, the 8-year-old, wants a dog more than anything. He's begged his mother more times than she can count. But there's no dog in his house. So when 4 dogs live right next door with no fence in the way, you can imagine what happens. Except this time, what happened wasn't playtime. It was a bite. And it's about to turn into one of the messiest, he said. She said cases you'll see all year, until the evidence shows up. February 19th. Around 5 o'clock in the evening. Ms. Mack says her son Malik was bitten by one of the Herrera's dogs, right there on the property line between the 2 homes. Here's the twist right out of the gate. Ms. Mack didn't see it happen. She wasn't standing there when the teeth met skin. The only eyewitness on her side of the case is her other son, a 13-year-old named Skylar. That's a shaky foundation for any case, and the judge knows it. First witness up, little Malik himself. Only 8 years old, clearly nervous, sitting in a chair that's way too big for him in a room full of strangers. And when he's asked directly, "Do you remember what happened with the dog?" he says no. Not, "I don't want to talk about it." Not, "I'm scared." Just no memory at all. Which, if you've ever met an 8-year-old, isn't exactly shocking. Trauma plus time plus a room full of cameras can do that to a kid. But it also means the court can't lean on him for a single fact. So now everything rides on the older brother. 13-year-old Skylar steps up. And to his credit, he doesn't dodge, he doesn't stall. He just tells it straight. He says he was the one actually walking the dogs that day. 2 of them, the mutt and the Chiweenie. Somewhere in the middle of walking them, the bigger dog, the mutt, twisted its leash around his arm. And in the chaos of untangling himself, the Chiweenie's leash slipped completely off. The tiny dog took off running, straight at Malik, and bit him. Here's the detail that matters more than anything else in this case. Where exactly Malik was standing when it happened. Skylar doesn't hesitate. He says his brother was standing in the middle, the strip of no man's land between the 2 houses. Not clearly in the Herrera's yard. Not clearly in his own yard either. Which means, right there on the stand, from his own family's witness, the case gets a lot murkier than "our neighbor's dog attacked us for no reason." It's honest testimony. It's also testimony that opens a door the Herrera family is about to walk straight through. Now here's where it gets interesting. Before the hearing, the Herreras had filed a written response to the claim. And that response told an entirely different story. According to their paperwork, this wasn't a random accident at all. According to them, Malik had a regular habit, of coming into their yard and teasing their dogs. And on this particular day, they claimed that's exactly what triggered the bite. Boy provokes dog in dog's own yard. Dog reacts. Case closed in their minds. It's the kind of defense that, on paper, sounds completely reasonable. Kids tease dogs. Dogs get spooked. It happens every day in every neighborhood in the country. But there's a problem. A big one. That story doesn't match what their own son just said under oath minutes earlier. Skylar, their witness, their family, never once mentioned Malik teasing the dogs. He described a leash slipping loose by accident, and a dog running toward a boy who was standing in a shared, undefined space between 2 homes. 2 completely different versions of February 19th. one from a signed legal document, one from a 13-year-old with no reason to lie for the other family. Something doesn't add up, and the judge notices it immediately. Just when it looks like this is going to come down to nothing but conflicting memories, the Mack family drops the moment that changes everything. They have home surveillance footage. Not a witness's memory, not a written statement crafted after the fact. An actual camera rolling in real time the day it happened. And what's on it doesn't match the Herrera's teasing story at all. The footage shows Malik running, not casually walking, running away from the Herrera's dogs. And it's not one dog chasing him. It's three. 3 dogs in pursuit, converging on an 8-year-old boy. The bite itself happens just off to the side, out of the direct frame. But what the camera does catch is the immediate aftermath. Malik sprinting into view, crashing into the trash cans by his own family's porch, clearly trying to get away from something that was actively chasing him down. That is not the picture of a boy who wandered into someone else's yard to torment their pets. That's the picture of a kid running for his life from multiple dogs bearing down on him. And just like that, the "he provoked them" defense doesn't hold up anymore. Not against video. Not against a timestamp. Not against 3 dogs on camera instead of the isolated incident the paperwork described. This is where it stops being a calm hearing and starts becoming a real confrontation. The presiding judge lays it out plainly for the Herreras. What they wrote in their defense simply is not what their own son described on the stand, and it is not what the video shows either. 2 independent sources, their child and a security camera, both contradict their written version of events. And the Herreras don't back down. They insist their story is still accurate, that Malik has a habit of provoking the dogs regularly, and that on this occasion he'd been doing exactly that before running off toward their yard. But when pressed on who actually witnessed this alleged teasing on February 19th specifically, the answer comes back to the same 13-year-old who never mentioned any teasing at all. The judge isn't having it. You don't get to lean on a witness's testimony for the pieces that help you, while ignoring the parts of that same testimony that don't. Either Skylar's account is reliable or it isn't, and the Herreras clearly want it both ways. They even ask, in the middle of the hearing, whether their son can be questioned again. Presumably hoping a second round might produce a different answer now that he's heard their side spoken aloud in the room. The response is immediate. No, the moment for that has passed. Once a witness has heard the other side rehearse their version live, in real time, in front of them, any answer that follows can't be trusted as untouched anymore. The line has to be drawn somewhere, and this is exactly where it gets drawn. Now, on the surface, this looks like a small neighborhood dog bite dispute. 2 families, a handful of dollars in the balance, a scraped-up 8-year-old. But it's actually a masterclass in how these cases get decided in real courtrooms every single day. It's rarely about who's the good guy and who's the bad guy. It's about which version of events survives contact with actual evidence. A written statement is only as strong as what backs it up. A child's honest, unrehearsed testimony can undo a carefully worded legal defense in about 30 seconds. And a home security camera, something more and more families have sitting right on their porch, can settle a dispute that would otherwise come down to nothing but he said, she said. This case also shows something a little uncomfortable. Sometimes the people defending a position aren't lying maliciously, they may genuinely believe their version. But belief isn't evidence. And when the footage exists, footage wins every time. So if there's one lesson from this entire case, it's this: if you've got dogs, get a fence. If you don't have a fence, get a camera. And if you're ever standing in a courtroom explaining what happened, make sure your own witnesses are telling the same story you are. That's the case. One bite, one blurry property line, one video that changed everything. If you want to see how this one actually gets resolved, and you want more real courtroom cases where the evidence flips the entire story halfway through, make sure you hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications because we've got a new one going up soon. And hey, drop a comment below. Whose side were you on before the video came out? And did it change after you saw the footage? See you in the next one.